So the question is, how can we experience our body as it is? And most of you have already the eyes closed. Everyone else, I would like to invite to close your eyes. And let's check now. In our direct experience, not in thinking, the thoughts about my body and the image can be lovingly ignored for this time of this contemplation. What is actually here in my direct experience of the so-called body? This can be a bit tricky if we are very used to think about our body only, or to perceive our body only as an image. There is something that the mind cannot quite grasp. It can, best case, it can translate the experience that we're directly making of our body or of a feeling like sadness. It can translate what we are feeling, but the translation is not the feeling, and the experience of our body is not a thought. But there is something. Firstly, of course, there is consciousness. The space, the container, we could say, of our experience. In this consciousness, in this awareness, sounds like my voice appear and disappear. Might be other sense perceptions like the temperature in the room, or other sounds, tastes, smells. there might be thoughts, images popping up. And there is what we call our body appearing in consciousness as vibration, sensation, energy, life. Whatever word I use is not quite correct because it's not a thought, but we experience something. We, consciousness, experience this bundle of sensation, of vibration in consciousness. Stripped of the ideas, the thoughts, and the image of me as a body, in my direct experience here and now, there's just this vibration, this sensations. We might even experience that they come, so to speak, even more to life, that the vibration, the sensation starts to dance even more, to increase once we shine our awareness on them. When we were little children, or even a baby, when we were not filled with ignorance, with conditioning, with ideas about us as a body, without the connection of us to that body, we were experiencing life directly, purely in a non-separated way. We didn't have the feeling of being a separate body as a little child. We were free to play and there was no fear, and we maybe were climbing trees, or we didn't think about danger. There was this, without thinking, this intuitive unity with the world, with nature in us. It was beautiful. We were just experiencing, pure experiencing. And that's what we're mimicking here now in this contemplation. We are purely experiencing again. Free from ideas, beliefs about us and our bodies. Deep down in our hearts, we maybe already feel that nothing has changed from the time when we were a baby or a little boy or a little girl to now in our actual experience. There is a lightness, a joy already in this intuitive remembering, so to speak, of our freedom as consciousness experiencing itself freely. So there is this bundle of vibration, of sensation appearing, dancing its dance in us, consciousness. Let's move a little deeper into the experiment and let's move to a very peculiar area in our experience. Let's move to the area where there is a sensation of me sitting on a chair or on the couch. Mind says, sitting on the chair. There is me and the chair, me and the couch. What does experience say? Are there two sensations? One me on the chair and on the couch, and the other the couch or the chair. And in my experience, is there a border between me, sensation body, and chair, couch. There must be a border, right? Because I am ending at my skin. And the chair is something else than me, says thought. But is that true? Is it not my experience that there is just one sensation in consciousness? Vibrating as this peculiar sensation, sometimes I call it physical sensation, me sitting or touching something. It's a very efficient way to check if that thought, that idea of me being separate from the chair or the couch is actually meeting my direct experience. And then let's stretch it a little bit further today, not too far, and maybe move with awareness. Like imagine you're like a little merman or mermaid in the ocean of consciousness and swim out of the body into the space surrounding the sensation. Like a little mermaid or merman of awareness that is aware, that can take a sample of the substance of the space. Take that sample and swim back to the sensation we call body. And check in your experience if the substance, the sample you took in space, so to speak, and the one that is apparently a solid body of flesh and bone, check what is the difference between those two samples, so to speak. And then maybe swim to that sensation again where the chair apparently meets the body. And take a sample here also of the substance. Don't try to think that. The mind cannot fathom this substance that we're taking, but we can. And now you have, so to speak, the substance of the space and the substance of the sensation where the chair meets the body, and the sensation somewhere from the body. And check in your direct experience, what is the difference? Is there a difference substantially to your samples in your experience? And again, when you were swimming as a little merman or little mermaid in that ocean of consciousness from the so-called body out into space, did you hit a border? Was there a limit, a border in your experience, leaving the body, going, swimming into space and back? Is it not so that your experience was that there was no border? That there is no border? And that the substance of the samples is essentially the same. There might be, and most likely be, different intensity of vibration, of sensation, different density between the samples. But the actual experience between the body and the space surrounding the body and the place where the body meets the chair or the couch, aren't they all just different frequency, vibration of sensation in the same substance, so to speak, which is consciousness, awareness? It's an aware space, otherwise we would be not able to take a sample and feel it. just like the little child or the baby, in our direct actual experience, apart from conditioned thought about our bodies, we actually experience ourselves borderless. The idea that I am ending where my skin is ending is just an idea. I don't actually experience that. Possibly in this experiment. Not that it's not a very convincing idea that we carry, and the mind will have a great interest to hold on to this idea as it gives apparent security and safety to the mind-based I of me as a solid thing. But if we stick like a good scientist merely to our actual experience, we may have to admit we didn't find that border in our experience. And we may have to admit that there is just this ocean of experience, of consciousness, in which currents of experience as sensation move. Here and then there might be a thought about myself appearing as a wave in the ocean, an apparent separate I, and then it dissolves back into the ocean of consciousness. And there might be feelings in the ocean that move as current of sensation in this ocean of consciousness. The thoughts about me appear as a separate me, as a wave. Feelings move like currents, streams through the ocean, but in the end it's all water. Consciousness. There is no real separation. Not different things. It's just water waving or water creating a current, a stream, everything emerging out of the freedom of consciousness emerging as a form, a thought form, a sensation, an image. A bundle of sensations that are apparently located as my body. We may look into that location, that sense of location in another body contemplation. But for today, let's see clearly that this limitation that we have put onto us, the limitation of me somehow ending at the skin, let's see clearly that our actual experience is borderless, limitless. Yes, there are limitations that belong to the body, no doubt. But I, consciousness, am free of those limitations. And even the apparent limitation of the body being in space, maybe as a final check, we may see that there is a natural expansion of this bundle of sensation into the space. That the apparent form of the body, the bundle, is actually not really graspable. And in that sense, we already surrendering the accumulated ignorance, the accumulated separation that is stored as memory in the body. We already surrendering it naturally to the space, to consciousness. Not by doing anything, just by observing our actual experience. And in that way, this apparent expansion of sensation into the space makes space in the apparent body for consciousness, for awareness. And in that sense, already we are embodying pure awareness. We are exchanging pockets of separation, of ignorance, of ideas we're exchanging them for how reality, pure awareness is. Limitless, borderless, timeless, infinite, eternal. All this wisdom that we carry as consciousness informs the so-called body. That it's substantially the same as this pure awareness, pure consciousness. That it's just an idea of me being a separate body, apart from my environment, separate from my environment, just how we have possibly experienced with the chair, with the couch. And in this way, before we come to a closure of the contemplation, we can come back, so to speak, more and more to that child, that free child in us that is experiencing its body lightly, freely, non-limited, as a tool to discover, to play in this world, free from its heaviness, from its burden of a separate me, of responsibility, of guilt, of shame. If reality is non-dual, it includes our bodies. They just play the form of a body and they get the functions so we can enjoy, celebrate with the functions of the body. We can smell a rose, see the innocent smile of a child. Smell the forest after a summer rain. Touch the hand of our beloved. Not to speak of the cappuccino again. All of that wouldn't be possible for us as consciousness without this beautiful tool. And as children, we still understand naturally what a gift this body is. We still have this free, unlimited light body. It's still here. We only have to free it from its burden of separation, of ignorance.